Now today's lesson is on comparing number sentences. Rosie has represented a calculation using 10 frames. Let's take a look. She used 2 different colored counters. Can you see? What calculation has Rosie represented? How many red counters are there? That's right, there are 8. And how many yellow counters are there? Exactly, there are 7. And what calculation do you think Rosie is doing? She's adding them together. She's showing us 8 plus 7. Amir has represented a calculation, and he's also using 10 frames. Here's what Amir built. He also used red counters and yellow counters. What calculation has Amir represented? Well, once again, let's look at the red counters. How many are there? There are 7. And how many yellow counters? There are 6, correct. And what calculation do you think Amir is doing? He's showing us addition. Amir is showing us 7 plus 6. Rosie says, I want to compare our calculations. What does she mean by compare? I think she wants to see who has more counters. Well, actually, she also may want to find out who has fewer. We know that Rosie built 8 red counters and 7 yellow counters. We also know that Amir built 7 red counters and 6 yellow counters. We can use the words greater than or less than to compare. So let's use greater than or less than to complete the sentence. Take a look. 8 plus 7 is... Were you thinking greater than? Yes, 8 plus 7 is greater than 7 plus 6. And we can see that because Rosie has 1 full 10 frame and 5 more. That's 15. And Amir has 1 full 10 frame and 3 more. That's 13. Oh, Amir. Amir says, I can write it another way. Okay, Amir, go ahead. 7 plus 6 is less than 8 plus 7. Amir, you're right. We could think about it as 7 plus 6 is less than 8 plus 7. Well done, Amir. Well done, Rosie. Now it's your turn to have a go. Using the words greater than, less than, or equal to, you're going to complete the sentences. And you could use 10 frames to help you. So pause here, fill in the sentences, and then come back and we'll compare answers. Are you ready? Here's question 1. 3 plus 9 is less than 7 plus 6. Number 2. 3 plus 9 is greater than 5 plus 6. Question 3. 3 plus 9 is equal to 9 plus 3. And question 4. 13 plus 5 is greater than 11 plus 6. Well done. Rosie has represented a different calculation using 10 frames. Well, let's take a look. Oh, it does look different than the last one. Here, we only have red counters. And we also have some lines here. What calculation has Rosie represented? Well, how many red counters are there all together? I see one full 10 frame and 3 more. That's 13 red counters. But then she crossed out some of them. How many did she cross out? That's right, 4. Rosie was showing 13 subtract 4. Amir also represented a different calculation using 10 frames. Let's look at his. This reminds me of Rosie's. What calculation has Amir represented? Well, he only used red counters as well. How many did he start with? One full 10 frame and 2 more. That's 12 red counters. But he also crossed out some red counters. How many did he cross out? He crossed out 5. Amir was showing 12 subtract 5. Rosie says, I want to compare our calculations. Do you remember what comparing is? It's seeing which one is greater than or less than. Rosie wrote 13 subtract 4. Amir wrote 12 subtract 5. So thinking about comparing, we can use the words greater than or less than to complete the sentence. Rosie wants to compare her calculation to Amir's. She could say 13 subtract 4 is greater than 12 subtract 5. Exactly. Oh, but Amir says, can you write it another way? I think he wants us to compare Amir's to Rosie's. Why don't you pause here and have a go? See if you can compare Amir to Rosie. Okay, what were you thinking? Did you say 12 subtract 5 is less than 13 subtract 4? If you did, fabulous job. Okay, it's your turn to have a go. Remember, using the words greater than, less than, or equal to, you're going to complete the sentences. And if you want, you could use 10 frames to help you. So pause here and have a go, and when you're ready, we'll go through the answers together. Are you ready? Number 1, 14 subtract 3 is greater than 12 subtract 3. Question 2, 14 subtract 3 is equal to 12 subtract 1. Question 3, 12 subtract 1 is greater than 14 subtract 5. And finally, number 4, 14 subtract 5 is less than 16 subtract 5. Well done. Oh, hi, Rosie. Rosie says, did you know we can also use symbols to compare? Oh, I've seen those symbols before. This symbol means less than, because if we compare the blocks, 2 is less than 3. We can also use the equal sign, and the equal sign here shows that 3 blocks is equal to 3 blocks. And finally, we can use this symbol, the greater than symbol. And this is shown because 3 blocks is greater than 2 blocks. So we could say 18 is greater than 15, and we use those words. But what if we wanted to use a symbol? Amir wants us to write the sentence using symbols. 18, 15. Well, we know that 18 is greater than 15, so we would have to use, pause here, have a go. Which symbol would you use? Exactly. We would use the greater than symbol because words or symbols, it's still true. 18 is greater than 15. All right, you know what that symbol means. It means pause here and have a go. This time you're going to be using the symbols for less than, greater than, or equals to in order to compare the number sentences. So pause here, put in the symbols, and then come back and we'll check them. Are you ready to go? Question number 1. 3 plus 9 is less than 7 plus 6. 2. 3 plus 9 is greater than 5 plus 6. 3. 3 plus 9 is equal to 9 plus 3. Number 4. 13 plus 5 is greater than 11 plus 6. Number 5. 14 subtract 3 is greater than 12 subtract 3. Number 6. 14 subtract 3 is equal to 12 subtract 1. Number 7. 12 subtract 1 is greater than 14 subtract 5. And finally, number 8. 14 subtract 5 is less than 16 subtract 5. That was a lot of work. Okay, we're at the end of this lesson on comparing number sentences. I want you to pause here and have a go at your worksheet. But remember, if you don't have a White Rose map,